Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know what they say, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And we'll add on top of that what I like to say, there's that old saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Well, I like to say, show me your enemies, show me who's attacking you, and I'll know exactly who you are. And in Elon Musk's case, he's being attacked by a bunch of raging SJW lunatic authoritarian leftists, Antifa, and now Apple Inc., the most virtuous of virtuous. Well, show me who your enemies are and show me who's attacking you, and I know exactly who you are. The more they attack him, the more I like him. Very similar to the whole situation with Donald Trump. We're somehow supposed to believe that Elon Musk is a terrible, fascist, evil billionaire man, and Apple is the good guy. Apple is the virtuous company fighting for democracy or, I don't know, some garbage. Yeah, let me just tell you, I wasn't born yesterday. Not gonna buy it, not buying it, never gonna buy it. And that's basically what we gotta cover today. If Apple really wants to take this battle, well then let's go over the facts, shall we? You certainly know the bought and paid for shill media that's dependent on Apple's advertising spending is certainly not gonna tell you the truth, certainly not gonna outline the absolutely clear hypocrisy, so if they won't, we will. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so it's here exactly as we were expecting. Based on little moves that we were seeing from Apple on Twitter, Apple Inc. is officially threatening Elon Musk's Twitter with an app store removal in what can honestly only be called corporate blackmail. Elon Musk confirms. Apple has also threatened to withhold Twitter from its app store, but won't tell us why. And this tweet comes in a set. Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter as well. Do they hate free speech in America? What's going on here? At Tim Cook, Elon Musk tweets. And that's a great question. What exactly is the issue, Apple? Removing ads from the platform and now threatening to remove Twitter from your app store. Is free speech and democracy really that much of a problem for you? It seems as though that's probably the case. Apple cannot stand losing control over the narrative. Actually, here's great insight. Billionaire Laurene Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow, who owns The Atlantic, has a major stake in Axios, and owns 7% of Disney and many other media outlets.
It was pretty obvious to me that we could build, we build out in a very cross-disciplinary way our work in capital investing and policy and philanthropy, and we could do this work forever and ever, and we could have the narrative overtaken by someone who has a lot of power, who's completely contrary to us, and we could never get to the place where we think we're part of a more just and equal society. And so it was obvious that if we could be part of the creation of cultural narrative, that would enhance and amplify all the work that we're doing.
Which is Hillary Clinton talked about today, is telling the story, getting the content out there.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So these are early days for us, but that's the idea behind it. We want to inspire the kind of stories that we'd like to see told.
Do you ever see you buying something bigger, like the New York Times, for example?
Is it for sale?
It could be for you.
Control over the narrative is very important to these people. Apparently a whole lot more important than democracy and the basic right to free speech. What we are seeing is the real billionaire class. You know, leftoids are always talking about the 1%, the corrupt billionaire class. Well, this right here is it. Billionaires who in many cases are leftoid billionaires who own these massive companies, whether it be media outlets or mega corporations with huge ad budgets, either outright controlling these networks, media companies and outlets, or controlling them with their ad spending dollars. Do as we say or else. And in Apple's case, do as we say or we'll kick you off our app store. I don't know about you guys, but that seems like an antitrust monopoly issue to me. Twitter in a certain way is a direct competitor to Apple and Google. How is it even legal that they can threaten to remove a competitor from their app stores? And it's especially more questionable considering they basically own a monopoly or an oligarchy when it comes to app stores in general. But of course, monopoly or not, what I'd like to focus on is really the hypocrisy. Apple, of all companies, is going to pretend to be almighty and virtuous, as if Twitter is the really unethical company. You know, Apple, the company that makes overpriced tech garbage that's produced in a Foxconn factory in China where people are literally working for cents in such terrible living arrangements and work environments that they had to build nets around the building because so many people were jumping off. They'd rather take their own lives than continue working making iPhones. A company that takes advantage of slave labor in China, not to make affordable products for everyone because they're the nice guys, but to then come to the Western consumer and absolutely price gouge you, paying extreme premiums for a computer that has cruddy hardware components. You could build a way more powerful PC for a whole lot less. You know, Apple, that company that refuses to use USB-C because they want to sell you a wire that's, again, overpriced, that you have to buy from them. You know, Apple, that company that released a software update that started throttling people's phones if they were using the previous version or the previous iteration of iPhone, making them feel as if their phone wasn't working anymore, as if it was a hardware issue and they had to replace it and get the new iPhone, which, by the way, they got slapped with a $918 million lawsuit over that scandal. And really, the list just goes on and on. I mean, Apple is actually a terrible, unethical, some would even argue evil company, and now to add on top of that, they're essentially taking a stance against free speech and flexing their oligarchy muscle to destroy a competitor. I mean, just truly despicable, I mean, disgusting stuff here, friends. And this is really what the conversation should be focused on, because the media's never going to highlight these clear, utter hypocrisies. But it's time to take a stance. But it's time to take a stance against these companies. And this is why I am so adamant in supporting Elon Musk in this endeavor. You gotta give him credit. He's actually standing up to these supposedly woke advertisers, these corrupt megacorporations who flex their ad spending power to control the media, control the narrative, of course, control social media in true 1984 fashion. Actually, speaking of 1984, don't forget that Fortnite back in 2020 released an anti-Apple ad campaign using 1984 as a metaphor.
Today, we celebrate the anniversary of the platform unification directives. For years, they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams. In exchange, we have taken our tribute, our profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
It's time to stand up against these companies. There has to be an end to this corporate advertising dollar blackmail, and the only way it stops is if the people stand up. These companies are taking anti-free speech stances with their ad dollars, and they must be held accountable for their disrespectful actions desecrating the Constitution, the people's first right. It's number one for a reason. If Apple wants to play this game and pretend as if they're fighting for something so virtuous, give me a break. The word Apple and virtue should never belong in the same damn sentence. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.